depending on when this video goes out, this is really going to mess with people's OCD. Like, 1 minute, long hair, next minute, short hair. But you know what? I just watched an episode of a TV show that I had to jump into this studio and I had to talk to you guys about. I had to bring you my review of a show I have been dying to start. It's only the first episode, but it started on a very good note. I can't wait to see what happens going forward with this show. We are going to talk about Starz TV show Heels. Hello everybody, welcome back to Nerdly Out Loud, the official channel of nerdly.co.uk, your favourite British website for all of your news, reviews and exclusive interviews. We like to cover everything from the big budget to the low budget to the no budget, with a special keen interest on the lower end of the scale. So something I've not really done on this channel at all so far is review TV shows. I've kind of spoken broad and generally about TV shows, but I've never really spoken about a TV show that is currently on the go and that is just starting out. And Heels, for me, was the perfect show to do that with. When Arrow came out, I was a huge Arrow fan. And when Cody Rhodes, or aka Stardust at the time, turned up in Arrow, I thought that was great because I'm a big wrestling fan as well. Something else I've not really got into on the channel. I've mentioned what here and there, little bits and pieces, but I do love me some wrestling. Stephen Amell got involved with the WWE as well. He did a whole little arc. If you've seen it, you know what the crack was. But what really was apparent to most people out there is while actors and musicians and whatnot like to come into the WWE and do a little stint, do a little story, sometimes it just comes across doing a bit of promo or plugging something. Stephen Amell was not that. Stephen Amell came across as if he had a genuine love for the product and the stories and what was going on. And I fell in love with that side of Stephen Amell. Of course, when they said they were making a TV show on Starz, the story of the homegrown backyard wrestling company, I couldn't wait for this. So we'll talk about that in a quick hot second. But first of all, do not let me do an episode without doing the whoring and the pimpage. Please do all of those wonderful, amazing things that help me grow and help us show. Please do hit that like, hit that subscribe, and ding that bell. The bell is a notification bell that will let you know whenever I drop a wonderful, wonderful episode of mine, whether it be a review or an interview. And I feel like we're going to be continuing these reviews going forward because, like I say, the first episode fired on all cylinders and I loved it. So I will be coming back with more of these for you guys. Also, share the channel to people. Share these videos to people and let people know about us. It helps the algorithms. It helps us climb YouTube. It helps us do our thing. And we are well on our way to 1,000 subscribers, which again, doesn't sound like a lot to most people, but to us who are slowly growing this community of ours, it means a hell of a lot. Let's just stop gassing and let's get into talking about Heels, episode 1.
And now, our feature presentation.
Episode 1 of Heels, aptly named Kayfabe. Just, yeah, straight away, loving the name of the episode. It kind of tells you a lot about what we're going to get here. They are breaking kayfabe. They are taking us into the real life stories of these people. Guys like have wives and have family, and the members of the town, the fans, you might say, who all believe the kayfabe, who all believe the story. So I've already said it up front. I genuinely think Stephen Amell was perfect for this, and he plays the role of Jack Spade, and his brother is played by Alexander Ludwig, who is from Vikings. I love Vikings. Everybody knows I love Vikings. I have professed my love for that show many, many times, and I will continue to do so. So seeing him come from that show, turn up in movies, big blockbuster movies and whatnot, and now seeing him come into this show, what this could be a big breakout thing for him. You know how a lot of actors have that one show that they just couldn't shake off? I thought Vikings might be that for Beyond Ironside, but here we are. Alexander Ludwig is showing us a different side to him, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of action, and he's a pretty versatile dude. So the story of the first episode is literally just bringing us into this universe, bringing us into DWL, Duffy Wrestling League. The Stephen Amell character, Jack Spade, kind of runs the show. He's inherited the company from his dad. He loves nothing more than writing the scripts. He loves nothing more than planning these events and playing the overall heel of the company and just getting other people over to the nth degree. But we kind of get the sense that we're coming into this where he's getting a little bit jaded in a way. The love, it feels like he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, like only he has the love anymore, and other people are just doing it for their own reasons. And that's where the brother comes in. That's where Ace Spade comes in, Alexander Ludwig, the hot young talent coming onto the scene. Obviously, people are coming to see him. He is the face, and he is the new guy that may be taking over the company. He's also being spotted by other people from elsewhere, so there's a little bit of back and forth going on there. And we spend the first episode with Jack trying to figure out how to book the next event, because it's come to the point where face versus heel, brother versus brother, they have to finally tell that story. Who wins, who takes the belt, and how do we do it? But the thing with Jack is he just wants to tell a compelling story that all the fans are going to love and get into, whereas Ace just thinks, I'm the new guy, I'm the talent, people are coming to see me, give me the belt. So there's that back and forth. And of course, the brothers, so it makes it even worse. And you kind of spend the whole of the first episode, what's going to happen? Like, the narrative kind of changes throughout the episode, and you can see the little players here and there that are going to be, hopefully, as the show goes on, getting more into it and putting their spin on this show. I love all of that. I love all that. I love the dynamic with all the other wrestlers. They've got some great cast in here. A lot of guys you may not know, and some guys you've probably seen here and there. I really do rate this cast. Everybody's putting in a good performance, but make no mistake, this is Stephen Amell and Alexander Ludwig doing their thing. So that is basically, in a nutshell, the first episode. You can't really go too much further in. The first episode of any TV show is just building the universe, introducing us to our main characters, the likes of Stephen Amell's family, his wife and his son who idolizes his uncle, and even that, as a dad, that's got to be, I know you're playing the heel and he's totally bought into this role, but that's got to be a little bit crap because your son idolizes your brother, but he's the face, so he has to. And that's the stories. The setting of this is sort of one of those, I wouldn't say deep south towns, but it's definitely like a middle America town. When the town latches onto something, they really latch onto it, and they've all latched on to this wrestling promotion. So it's really cool, and everybody's into it, and they all love it. It's one of the things I really enjoyed about this episode, about this show, hopefully going forward. It's a lot about the town and not just the wrestling. So I'm just going to skip any more of the storyline because we don't know a great deal yet. I loved the way the episode ended. Did not end how I thought it was going to. It's one of those things, like when I sit down and I watch the wrestling with my daughter, I kind of try and book them in my head. I was also kind of trying to book this show in my head. Right, so if he goes down this way, then he still looks pretty big and it's all good, but the other guy gets to take the belt and it's all good. And then I'm like, but you know what? The brother's a little bit of an asshat in real life, and behind the scenes, he's not really that nice of a person. So I kind of want Stephen Amell to go over even more. And you kind of get to the end of the show, the end of this episode, and the wife asks him, so who wins? And Amell delivers this absolutely crushing line of dialogue. It doesn't matter. It's all fake. Oh, man, that destroyed me. And then you get the end and you get the big twist, the big turn going into the episode 2, because, of course, you've got to set up the series going forward. I'm not entirely sure where this is going to go. I'm really excited to find out. Let's just talk about some of the things I really liked and some of the things I wasn't really all that bothered about. The main thing that I loved about this show, the main thing that got me excited, and the main thing that got me 10 minutes after watching the episode jumping in here to talk to you guys, was the creators of this show. Michael Waldron, the creator and the writer, and I don't think he's directed the first episode. It was Peter Segal that directed the first episode. You can tell there's a lot of love for that business. And you can tell that a lot of these guys know that business quite well. Whether they're involved in the business, that doesn't matter. I mean, you've got Michael Waldron, who's created this show and he's writing this show, who is also a producer on the likes of the Rick and Morty TV show and Loki. So he's well up on his pop culture and he's well up on universes and whatnot. But I really got a sense that this guy has been watching wrestling his whole life. And we already know that about Stephen Amell. I went on IMDb and I didn't see a writing credit for Stephen Amell, but I'm assuming he has put a little bit of stuff in there. So that's one of the things I really like. This team seems to be a really solid team, and I think it can only get better. It can only get better going forward. Second up, I really like the wrestling moves. There's some really good wrestling moves. I mean, it opens with Stephen Amell doing a coast-to-coast. I'm a huge Shane McMahon fan, so seeing this show open with a coast-to-coast, thank you. We get some moonsaults. We're getting some pretty good wrestling moves for a TV show. Is it to the standard of Glow? Not yet, but I think we'll get there. Like, Glow was a pretty standout show, but we will get there as the show goes on. I kind of like the fact that Stephen Amell is burying himself into this character. He sounds nothing like Oliver Queen, which was my main concern. I'm going to sit here and we're going to be seeing Oliver Queen, Stephen Amell. Green Arrow is going to be on the screen the whole time. His voice is deeper. His actions are a little bit slower. His accent is a little bit thicker. I really like what Amell's doing here. And like I say, as I said before, that line of dialogue towards the end, he killed me with that line of dialogue. That was acting 101. That was awesome. Just great. Alexander Ludwig, I really liked him. I don't really see what we're going to do with this character going forward, but I am willing to be told who this guy is and where this guy's going. I'm ready to watch his journey. Chris Bauer is in here, and if you like The Wire, like me, like anyone else in the world who loves The Wire, we're always happy to see Chris Bauer turning up on our screens, so that's a good thing. And one of the things that I really, really do enjoy is this looks gorgeous. This looks absolutely gorgeous. Behind the scenes stuff, the wrestling scenes, the little montage you get throughout the middle, nice soundtrack, but angles and wrestling stuff looks insanely gorgeous. They get it, they nail it. And I would want to live in this town. You know, like when you back in the day when you watched Varsity Blues and you were spending your days in West Canaan, Texas. Yeah, I'd live there and I would live here. There was one character that stood out like a sore thumb for me. I hope going forward we get a little bit more from him. He's kind of like a good guy character, but then you find out halfway through the episode that he's decided he's going to retire after this event. And I don't know. The character didn't feel right to me. They didn't get him over, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully they get him over in the next one. But I am interested to see what they do with the character. He just didn't feel on the money. As I guess that's all I can say. But again, first episode, people, we got a lot of building to do. We got a lot of time to spend with these characters. I'm willing to go on the journey. I don't know if I should really bother giving each episode a rating, but episode 1, Kayfabe, of Heels, the new Starz TV show. By the way, we are not sponsored by Starz. I just feel like I have to keep telling you where you can find it. It's obviously on Starz in America. In the UK, if you have Amazon Prime, you can then buy Starz and you can get it as part of the app. It's a little bit extra, but trust me, it's completely worth it because you've got shows on there like Power. I'm a big Power fan. You've got Heels on there. You've got Pennyworth on there. I loved Pennyworth. Starz has got some pretty good shows on there. So it's worth the price. By the way, again, we are not sponsored by them. I don't get any money for telling you to do so. I just think you would be a little bit silly if you didn't get it, considering the absolute power of the shows that they have on there. They've got some amazing shows on there. But for me, Kayfabe, episode 1 of Heels, I think this is a solid opener. Time will tell as we go on. you can't really base your first opinion on a show on the first episode. I'm going to go with a 7. It's a strong 7 because I think we've started off really well. I do think, like most shows, when I went back and I watched the first episode again, I do think I'll enjoy it even more because I'll start to see the little bits that have been put in there for wrestling fans to notice. Again, once I've watched it again, I'll probably start seeing those little Easter eggs. I saw a couple of little bits and pieces. I'll let you find them as well. As far as first episodes go, in the pantheon of first episodes, this one stands out to me. This one really stands out to me. Like the first episode of Dexter, when I watched that, the first episode of Lost, when I watched that, I could not wait for episode 2. And I'm glad we're doing week to week on this, because if I had to binge this show all in one go, I'd have nothing else to watch. So I'm happy. But yes, episode 1 is in the books. I think Heels is on to a winner. Stephen Amell is great. Alexander Ludwig's great. Chris Bauer, I hope you stay in this show. And there's a whole cast of characters we haven't even spoken about, but that's mostly because the first episode is these two guys. It's brother versus brother. It's heel versus face. I love it. I can't wait to see more. Nerdly, we approve of this show. We want you to check it out. I genuinely think people will like this. It's not just a show for wrestling fans. There's a lot in there. It's kind of like the EastEnders of wrestling. And if you're in America and you don't know what EastEnders is, it's just a really crappy soap opera that we have over here. Right. I am going to go because I'm starting to babble on. But I'll tell you what. Please do all those amazing things like I asked right at the start. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ding that bell. If you disagree with anything I have just said or everything I have just said, please do drop a comment in the comments section below me. And you know what? I'll try and read them all. We might get 1 or 2, so I'll definitely read them. But you know, I am willing to have the conversation with people, and I think Heels as a show, everybody can enjoy. Let's just see where it goes, because some shows do die 2-3 episodes in. They just die on their ass. We'll find out what happens with this one. But for now, 7 out of 10 for me. Like, wait a minute, 7 out of 10? I've just realized I don't do out of 10. I do out of 5. Yeah, let's go with a 4. It's a very strong 4. It's a very good start. I do think the rest of the series is going to have a lot to live up to and a lot to do, but I'm willing to take the journey. Watch the story. Let's go. Let's go. Episode 2 next week. I will be back with a reaction. Absolutely. Review, reaction, whatever you want to call it. I will be back. 4 out of 5. Heels, Starz. I'm off.